Fan who wrote in says, what's the worst fan ass whipping a fan took trying to take on a wrestler that Shane ever saw?
Well, there was the worst I ever saw was in the Elks Lodge, ECW Madhouse of Extreme. Brandy and I are in the ring doing a promo live, and fans are throwing stuff. Well, something hits me, and if you stop and go, "Hey, who threw that?" Everybody start throwing more, right? So you just sort of keep going, and it's hotter than hell in this building, so I keep wiping my face, the sweat off because I'm a sweater. And one of the times I take my hand and go to put it down, I see red. And I look down, I'm like, what the hell? Franny goes, bleeding. How the hell am I bleeding, right? And I knew something had hit me. So I come back to the dressing room, and security, Atlas Security, has gotten, they saw the kid literally throw this thing. And so I go to the back, and I tried to work the guy a little bit. I said, I'm going to go down to the production truck, like ECW had a production truck. And I said, I'm going to go back and rewind it. If I see you throwing something, come back here and beat the shit out of you. And there's a guy, I swear to God, franchise, I swear to God, this guy's, I swear to God, he kept saying. So I turn around and walk away, and now people get between us, and he starts, F you, and starts running his mouth. So I turn to go back after him, and one of the Atlas guys was a like Samoan, Tongan island guy, right? Was as wide as he was tall, big guy. And he grabs me, it ain't worth it, franchise, ain't worth it, franchise. Don't do it. You get in trouble, that kind of thing. And this guy, this fan, says to him, using some very non-kosher language, says, what are you, Shane Douglas's Uncle Tom's? And this big boy who just talked me out turns around and goes, oh, wham! Big fist knocks the guy out cold. And I said, hey, wait, I thought it wasn't worth it. He'd had it. And that was probably the worst I'd ever seen. The other times, I think, there were obviously over the years times and like wrestlers would get somebody pulled back and go at them. But typically, they didn't want lawsuits. So they would like get in between and more tussling than anything. But there were times that I think the worst beating I ever saw a fan take was in the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, and which is now gone. The security had taken this guy in the back, and the guy kept running his mouth. And so they like physically whooped the shit out of the guy, like slammed him into the wall and punching him and kicking him. And it was their security, the building security. And lesson learned, like never get smart with the security guys out there because they get you back here and you have a tendency to run into the wall and stuff like that, but it was, thankfully that doesn't happen. And for the fans out there, understand, our job is to get you wound up, and we want to do that. But, to suddenly get so into the storyline that you want to interject yourself and physically do something. A lot of these guys are pretty salty characters. That's the first thing. Secondly, they got security on their side and the law on their side. So you get into the back, whether building security, the promotion security, or the wrestlers, as I think through the dressing room, like the different names, like a guy like Big Show. Big Show's Mark Henry, big, powerful guys, right? But really nice guys too. But like you got somebody that big and strong and powerful, and they lose their cool. Like anybody can lose their cool. It's probably wouldn't be pretty. And you take it a step further. We were just talking about this with a friend the other day. I've got a friend that's an actor, big guy, and he's spent his whole life, being this size. And he said, there's this thing that will happen the first time, like you walk into a bar or a restaurant, and everybody goes like the over the top. Wow, man, how big are you? And that goes on and on and on. Well, the other night he's at a football game, his nephew's football game, goes into the bathroom. There's a bunch of teenagers in the bathroom. Where they weren't taught this, I don't know, but like, you don't really sort of, the men's room system, right? You walk in, there's not really it's not a place to converse. Like you walk in there, take care of your business, keep your eyes, in your stall, that kind of thing. And these kids keep going over the top. Well, none of the, and I'm trying to explain to him, none of these kids have been disciplined, right? I grew up with discipline at home, discipline at school, discipline on the street. Hell, your friends' parents would beat you if you did something stupid. And it's funny how we sort of, you learn, okay, you can't just do whatever you want. And, you walk in, you look at a guy that's 7 foot tall, 350, 60, 70 pounds, probably could take care of himself. And, but again, these kids have never been in a fight. So, like he hauls off and slaps them. They've never been hit like that. So they don't think it's ever going to happen. And if it does happen, it's like a video game. Well, when that happens, my eyeballs will pop out of my head and back in, and we'll hit the reset button, and my friends will have you on video, and I can sue you, and I'm going to get $10 bazillion because that's what everybody does that sues people. It's just a disconnect from reality. There was a teacher, I'll stop with this. Mr. Go was a math teacher in New Brighton High School, and Mr. Go was probably at that time well into his 50s, which was like being in your 70s today or older. But he was also like sort of effeminate. And I wasn't afraid of him. If I was on the street, I wouldn't have backed down from him or anything. But I also, as a man, was respectful of the fact that he was a man and I'm a kid. And I was taught, like, you don't talk like that to adults, and so on and so forth. But the kids today haven't gotten that. They've zero discipline in school, zero discipline on the street, zero discipline at home because parents can't do it. They don't even respect the cops, right? Like you see them getting up in cops' faces and stuff. And it's probably going to turn sour for them at some point in life. When some big 7 foot bastard comes along and decides to bring that big hand and smack you across the face. That's called what we used to call a reality check. It's me personally, I'd rather just, go in the bathroom, do my business and not have a hassle. But it's good question though from what was it, first name Pete or
no. This guy has no first name because my printer didn't.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is the elusive name. But good question. It doesn't happen nearly as often as you think, thank God. But when it did happen, I've seen some pretty good butt kickings in the back from building security and other places.
Okay, sorry, I've actually got the file up now, so I can see it was Snipe Bob. So, Bob, we shall call you. Thank you very much, Bob, for that question.
Thank you, Bob.